Okay, so whenever you install DBT, right, then all these folders will be created under DBT folder. Okay, so analyze, logs, macros, models, seeds, snapshots, and target test dot git ignore. Okay, DBT project and a readme file. These many folders will be created, and on top of that, where you are, if you go back here, okay, demo DBT, this is the your project folder. Under project folder, you will have all these folders will be created. Okay, here the importance of this folder is, okay, each folder is having its own utilization and its own feature actually. Okay, so we have seen that, right? So here you can uh, create a sequels, and queries and macros. Okay, and you can do snapshots. Okay, so all these things will be created, and whenever you create, so those files will be stored here. Okay, so if I go back here, examples, under examples, if you see my first DBT model, this is the existing one. Okay, and my first orders data that we created, my second DBT model, that is existing one, right? So like this, these many files got created under example. Okay, so let me open this. What is this under? Hmm? Schema? You see here version 2. I don't know what exactly this version 2. Generally maybe there, whenever they patch anything, might be they're creating like this. But when you see here model and model name, okay, my first DBT model, description, a starter DBT model, columns, name, ID is there, description, the primary key for this table, and the data sets. Okay, so you can see unique and not null. Similarly, my second DBT model, starter model, and ID is the primary keys. So like this was created, schema.yml. So we can create all these models under in this schema also. We can create. Okay. So what we have done yesterday, did before yesterday, we have created the our sequels, but those were not retrieved here generally, right? But we need to add this, in case if really we wanted to store this kind of information. If you want to see what is my model name and what are the columns I have and what is the description, everything you can create it here. Okay, so that also will help actually. Okay, so now today we are going to discuss about the model, what exactly model does. Okay, and what is the use of model. What is the use of model? So this model is very important for this DBT tool. Okay, so here in this model you will be creating a many SQL queries, many transformations. Everything will be done in the model. Okay, so everything, I mean there are many things are there. Okay, so let's talk about this model today. What is the use of uh, model and what is the benefit of this model and why this model is required for DBT tool. Okay, so let's just check the description of this one. Okay, I just already opened this one. Okay, if you see here, okay, DBT core and clouds are composed of different moving parts of working harmoniously, but that definition, this kind of statements we don't require it, but generally one time read is enough. But where you want to understand this means here all of them are imported to what DBT does, transform the data, mainly T. Why they are capturing T especially means this is mainly used for the transformation. Okay, And when you execute DBT run, you are running a model that will transform your data without the data ever leaving your warehouse. Okay, so it means within the warehouse itself, it will execute. How it will run within the warehouse means, okay. So you created here. So this is your Snowflake. Hmm? And here I have created a my DBT. Hmm? And this is my computer. This is my computer. I am typing here. Okay. My type is this one, for example. So I will open this visual terminal. Okay, here, and I'll configure this one. And through Snowflake connections, I'll give here. Okay. Here in Visual Studio, what I will do, I will write a query and I'll execute here. So what will happen? Whatever, whenever you execute, it goes through the DBT and it will come. Here itself, you will have a source table and here you will have a target table. So within the warehouse, it will execute all your data and here itself it will store. So this is just intermediate tool which will run your queries. Okay. So that is how they have built a very easily so that your queries, everything will be run under in the warehouse itself. That is what is meaning. Okay. And models are where you generally in the developers most of the time here they will spend on models only because every time you will be going to run the queries, right? You every time you are going to test the data. So in that case where you will be spending time means in the model folder itself. So mainly for the DBT tool, model is very, very important. So here maximum you will be writing a, select statements and your file will be stored as a .sql. So I'll show you that already we have practiced, day before yesterday, right? So let me go back there. I'll open this Visual Studio. Mm. See, already we have opened here already. Mm. So this file you see created our under model. You see, okay. My second DBT model dot SQL. So if you when you are click this right, it is showing the path also. If you see C colon demo DBT one models under the models example, my second DBT model dot SQL. It means under example this model got created, and for each folder you will have a schema.yml. Okay, so under model for this one you will have it. Okay, so the path also it is showing you where your file is stored, and as you know this is already your analysis folder and logs whatever we have seen right here. You can see one by one. I'll minimize all this. Okay. Hmm. So you can see all this. Okay, we have imported already through the Visual Studio. Okay, so in this model, all queries will be created with the .sql, and here it will store all of them. And you can create a multiple folders under model. Okay, so that advantages also you have. So for example, you have created a stage folder. Okay, and if you want to keep those stage queries under that particular folder, yes, you can create a stage folder. Right click, new folder, simple. And if you are creating here, then it will create under example folder. Okay, but you want to create under model, yes, create under model. Okay, now you see I'm creating a stage, something like I'll keep just a stage. Okay, now my stage folder created. So you see I'll minimize example so that you get see. And again I'll create one more folder. After stage I have a ODW, for example. So my ODW folder got created. Now, if you go back and if you see in your repository, there also it will create. See, ODW stage. So you created here. Okay. Again, you need to push that into Git. That also you need to do generally, right? I will show you that. Even I haven't seen that actually, but something we need to plan that also. For now, we will discuss this one. So like this, whenever you create a folder, because it is, see, this Visual Studio is just, it is a third party layer which will have a, you can run all these things in command prompt, not an issue. Okay, you have a terminal, you can run. But here, this Visual Studio, you will see some features, additional features when you compare to command prompt. Okay, so here you can see that. And under this, you can create a multiple folders. Under folder, you can create another folder also, not an issue. Okay. So sometimes in interview, they may ask the question also saying that under model, can we create a more than one folder? Yes, you can create a more than folder. Under folder, can we create a more than folder? Yes, you can create. It is a tree. Okay. So if I want to create in example another folder, yes, you can click it and right click and create a folder. Simple. Okay. So that those things you can do it here. Okay. This is the model to creating the folders. And coming to the other topics. Okay. So here mostly generally, okay, we will try to practice SQL because SQL is easy for us. We can write any complex queries easily in SQL. Complex requirement, sorry. Okay, complex requirement we can convert into SQL. So if any person is fully hands-on experience in Python, yes, he can utilize a Python code and he can transform the data. Not an issue. Okay. So if you see this statement here, generally, if you see this statement, SQL is the language most DBT users will be utilized, but it is not the only one for a building models. You see, so that there you will get a one interview question. Okay, SQL is the language most DBT users will utilize, but it is not the only one for building a model. Okay, starting in version 1.3, DBT Core and DBT Cloud supports Python model as well. That is what. So here, these two are very, very important. Either you can run in SQL, either you can run in Python. Okay, and you see already to install this DBT, we have seen that, right? We have installed Python first and then DBT we have installed. So Python models are useful for training or deploying data science models. You know, always data science, for a data science, Python is very, very useful. Okay. So once we complete this DBT, we will again teach the Python because it's a mandatory now. Hmm. So that is very, very important. In our project, we will execute our SQL and as well as Python also in DBT, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so far are you guys following with me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. So mainly you will have these two programming languages. Okay. You can execute under DBT. So whenever if you want to run through the Python, yes, you go ahead and run. If you want to run through the Python SQL, yes, you can go ahead and run. Okay. But whenever this Python you are trying to execute, so it will use there are default libraries will be there when you install, right? So those will be utilized. Generally, all SQL or Python, they will have it there once you install, right? They will have their own default libraries. You no need to import anything newly. In case if there is any feature that is not available in the existing DBT or any Python, then you need to import from other other site, other websites or from other references, you need to upload and you need to, sorry, you need to import and you have to upload it into your model. Okay, that you need to do. And coming to the DBT here, so as I said, right, so you can run SQL and Python. And here you can, so one more thing here is, okay, whenever you are creating this project, right, the project will be created under .yml. Okay, that is very, very important. S- Sometimes you may get a question like when you are creating a project, so project where it will store and what extension it will store. Maybe they may not ask the exact the question, but indirectly they will tell you that, okay, whenever the project is created, how it will store the project, whether it is in a folder, whether it is in a YML. Okay, that is very, very important. Now, if you see here, the top level of DBT workflow is the project. Project is a directory of a YML. Okay, so mainly this YML will be there. And as I mentioned about SQL and Python, so you can see either the file will be configuration files, okay, project configuration and .sql is .sql or Python files in this, it will create. Okay, I mean whenever you are creating a SQL queries or Python, right, under model, you will be giving the, if it is a Python, then .py, if it is a SQL, .sql. Okay, the project file tells DBT the project contents, and the model let DBT know how to build a specific data sets. That also it will show. And coming back to the, sorry, next topic here is, okay, how many types of models we have. So as of now, we have a model one, right? Whatever, even if you see here, we can see model, only one model. Under model, okay, we can, as I said, right, we can run SQL and Python. So here they have differentiated SQL model and Python model. Okay. Under SQL model, as I said, we can run any query, and Python model, we can run Python code. So if you go back these two, if you go and check these two, okay, now one second, what happened? When coming to the SQL model, again you will have a, okay, one is run command and another one is reference command. So these commands are very important to execute. Okay, so if you go by down, okay, you can see a SQL model is a select statement. Models are defined under SQL files. Typically, your model directory. We know already. Okay, whenever you are creating a SQL query, you will be going to give a .sql. You know which whether I am going to run a Python or SQL. You know already. Okay, so sometimes we have to create the requirement under Python. At that time, you will be giving .py extension. But generally, we use it for a data transmission. We use a .sql, so we will be select statement and also we will be giving this a .sql. Okay, so each .sql file contains one model select statement for each, and the model name is inherited from the file. And we strongly recommend using underscore for model names, not dots. Okay, and example model 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 dot SQL instead of model SQL. Okay, models can be nested in subdirectories within the models. So I have explained, right, we can create a folders. So folder is nothing but directory. Okay, so we can call it directory. Sometimes they may confuse in interview, they may confuse saying that can we create a directory under model directory, they may say that. Okay, directory or model, both directory and folder are both same. Okay, generally in Windows terminology, generally whenever we are using Windows, right, then we say as a folder. In Linux terminology, we say as a directory. Okay, so this is one thing you need to understand. And if whenever you execute dbt run command, dbt build the model build the model data warehouse by wrapping it in a create view as or create table. So already we have seen, right? We have seen either if you want to create a table, yes, it will create a table. Either if you want to create a view, it will create a view. Already we know that, right? So here, okay, one example they have given a customer.sql. Hmm? So that we will see. So please keep that in mind. Okay, whenever you are going to run SQL, you need to define whether you want a table or view. Hmm? Okay, by default it will create a view. Hmm? You need to define a table if you want. So sometimes really I prefer to create a table because the data will be stored and that is important for a data analysis. Okay, but the thing is storage it will take. Okay, storage definitely, right? Whenever you are physically storing the data in database, then the space will be utilized. But view it is not like that. Query will be stored. That size very less compared to data. Okay, so sometimes the data because you see, I'll show you. I'll show you the difference. How will you write a view? Create view view name emp underscore view and select as as select e number hmm, e number e name uh, job cell something and from emp where emp number something like this e number equal to 2 something like this. So what will happen whenever you execute, right? This lines only will be stored under a database, okay, view. Whenever you can execute this view, but when you are creating a table, okay, so data will be stored under database, create a table. As when you create a table, the data will be stored under data warehouse as a physically. Okay, this is just a query will be stored. This view will be stored. When what is the difference between this is same requirement, right? Means yes, but whenever you are executing a view, at that time it will pull the data. Okay, but it once you execute, what will happen? The data will be stored under empt and you can use this empt whenever you want. Okay, but here whenever you are executing a view, it will hit the main table every time the select query run. So what is the difference means? If you want to analyze any data emp view for example, then you need to run every time this query. But here, once you execute this query, data will be stored under table and physically in the data warehouse. You can analyze this data. Okay, that is the difference actually. So we have to see really we may require in future this view or table. Sometimes yes, table is required. Sometimes view is required. Okay, that you need to decide where which one you are going to take because as a experienced guy, when we are developing code, you should know which is the better. Hmm? Definitely, because we are hiring 4 years of experience person, 3 years of experience person, and for example, there are two persons. One is a 4 years and another guy is a fresher. Okay, then we will tell because already you know you have a 3 years experience, you guide him. That we will say to fresher. Okay, for example, that experienced guy does not have a knowledge of these differences, but at the fresher when he was when he I mean before joining the company, he might suppose he prepared everything or differences and these things, and then whenever this experienced guy explaining, he may correct them saying that no, we will use this table here physically, this table here. because it does not matter whether you have a experience or whether you have a you don't have any experience. The matter here is whether you have a subject knowledge or not. Okay, that is very, very important. So whenever you are keeping any experience, right, generally, okay, then this will help you that kind of analysis, because generally for my perspective, okay, there is no difference between 8 years, 10 years or fresher. The difference here is your analytical thinking power, how it is, your attitude and analytic. And generally, attitude is very important, but subject knowledge is very important, and the solution is very important. Okay. Okay. So now we will see it here. Okay. So if you see, there is a one customer query they have given here. Okay. With this is the CTE table. Means it is just at that time it will create a table and it will pull the data. Then whenever this query execute completed, right? Then you don't find this at all. Even that CTE table customer orders also you cannot find. View at least you can find. Okay, you can able to see that view table, but this customer order you cannot see it at all. Then why we are giving like this means to to differentiate, to split the code into multiple things. Okay, so same query here you can give here itself. So I'll show you how we can write and how we can change. This is very important for experienced persons. Okay. You have a 3 minutes time in case if it is disconnected, right? You just join again. Hmm? I'm copying this. Okay, so now go to the language and select yes under you see SQL. It will give you the like this. Hmm? Okay, now so you have a customer orders. Under that you have a some query here. You see, select the customer ID minimum maximum count from orders table group by one. Okay, group by one means this ID. Either you can give a customer ID here or you can give a one. If there is a one more column, yes, you can give comma two. That also it will work. Hmm? So what is doing this query means it is just aggregating the minimum maximum count data. Okay, and then here what is happening? Select customer data. It is pulling from this table. Hmm? And then you see here coalesce customer number of orders 0. So all are you see alias here, right? Okay, customer orders and customer orders. Sorry, customer table and customer orders. So here you have a customer table, left out or join customer orders using customer ID. This is the join condition they have given. Okay. So now I can write the same query in different way. How I can write? So I'll show you this. You see. Okay, I'm just going here. Here it's there, right? Hmm? Instead of like this, what I will do, I'll take this one, Control X, wherever we have given right here, inside this. Alias name I'm keeping as it is, but I'm just pasting the query inside the left outer. Because alias names are used here, right? I'll remove this. Now you see, same result you will get it. Okay, but here, what you have to do, not using, just you do the on, okay, customer orders dot customer ID. Okay. I'll keep this table later and from this table, hmm? Customer table, customer dot customer ID.